Hi friends, it's Jenny, and I am going to be doing, this is where we're going to find out if Jenny is just a little bit too ambitious because here I am thinking, oh, I'm going to make my two sets with the Bargain Bead Box Bohemian Nights and the Bargain Bead Box Bohemian Nights Companion Bundle, or Bead Box Bargains rather. And my thought is I want to make a set of layering necklaces in two different styles. So I like to mix between the two boxes when I make my twofer. And in this case, I'm definitely doing that. But I am going to be making a beaded chain layered set, so 3 different lengths of necklaces plus earrings, and then a strung beaded set that is also with earrings in 3 different lengths. The longest of which is not even going to have a clasp because it's going to be just an over the head kind of length. So I am going to be doing that. I'm going to record the first section, but I have literally been preparing the first section, which there is more structure with the beaded chain. There's a lot more preparation. Like I have been making links. I have been attaching stars to moons. I have been doing all kinds of things to get ready. And so it is about 3:30 in the morning before I even start recording. If I record all of this, I'm just going to be up ridiculously late. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the beaded chain and show you what we're going to do with that. So this is what is still in my boxes after everything that I've prepped for my chain. So let's get started. And I want to start with the longest of the 3 necklaces. And for this one, I've got 2 different links that I'm using. I'm going to be using this dragonfly focal. We did get a kit that tests for nickel, and this was not originally identified as being nickel free, but Beki actually rubbed away in a not to be seen section the plating and tested it. She did it for me because it's kind of fumy and I have an olfactory disorder on top of a metal allergy, and so she tested it and it didn't turn pink, which is what happens when it has nickel in it. So we're pretty sure this doesn't have nickel, but I had already planned on having this be the focal for my longest necklace. I'm going to be using this one for the second necklace, and this one also was not identified as being nickel free, but when tested did not turn the swab pink. So I'm going to chance it. We're going to see if that's something that we can do, so I can at least start using some of the really cool things if we can test it and get a consistent response. But I am going to be using these along with, they're approximately 1-inch lengths of chain. They're not exact. This is the less precise version of what I'm doing just because it is so hard to cut really fine chain exactly the same. So a few of them have a link or 2 longer or shorter than the others, but overall it's going to balance out. So I guess my beaded chain is going to be a little bit boho. So let's get started with that. So for the tools that I'm going to be using, I'm going to be using my Casual Comfort pliers set. Kind of go to, I've got round nose, which I'm only using a little bit because I'm actually using these 6-step bail making pliers, chain nose pliers, flat nose or duckbill pliers, and bent chain nose. And then I'm using 2 different cutters. I've got my regular cutters and I've got my memory wire cutters for cutting the chain. And I showed you the pliers. When we get to the strung portion of this video, I will also be using the magical crimper, soft flex crimp tubes. Nope, not those ones. The gold ones that I got out. Yes, the gold ones. And turquoise beading wire. So I've got big plans, friends. And I think that's it for the tools. So let's get my little beads down here for making these links. I'm using 20 gauge gold. I've used this so much. It's getting low and it doesn't show very well. But this is the 20 gauge soft flex wire, gold silver plated wire. And I'm going to go ahead and load up. I want to do all of my components at once, regardless of necklace, just because that way I'm using the tools. So I'm going to go ahead and move my focal back up. We know that these are the links that I'm going to be making. Some other links that I'm making. So for my middle necklace, I'm doing this link and this link right here. So I'm going to get the beads for those. And this has the lantern spacers. I love the lantern spacers. I got 2 more strands of the lantern spacers. So if you see a lot of these in my designs, that's because I love them and I bought more. And then this is the agate that came with it. This is the magnesite from the first box, as well as the carnelian from the first box. These are the triangle beads from the companion bundle. And the other 2 that I'm making are this one with the cat's eye glass and the howlite heishis from the companion bundle, as well as the howlite heishis and the crystal from the companion bundle that I think looks like dragon scales right there, the way that faceting is cut. I really like those a lot. So I'm going to be doing those ones as well. So let's get the beads down here, and we're just going to make all of our components, and then we'll put things together because there's a lot of component making, and we're just going to get that done at the beginning of this video. Then it's just a matter of putting everything together, right? Right. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pull a little bit of my wire. I'm not cutting it. I'm going to work off of the spool, and I'm going to load all of my beads. And what I'm doing is I am straightening the wire, running it back and forth between my thumb and my forefinger. First one way, then the other. It warms it up, but it also helps to work out the kinks. And I'm just going to put this on. So this is one of the, I'm going to go ahead and come into a normal range. I was zoomed out because we had a lot of things to show you at the very beginning. So this is the lantern, the magnesite. Oh, I almost forgot my bead caps I'm using on those guys. My long necklace gets fancy. They get bead caps. So, oh, come on. There we go. And this one. And these are the filigree bead caps from the first, from the subscription box, which were not listed as nickel-free, but when Becky tested them, they said they were okay. So I love them, and so I decided I'm going to use them. And we're going to trust our little test. We did get it to turn pink by using it against her keys. So we do know that the solution is functional. So that's good. So I'm doing lantern, a filigree bead cap, the magnesite, another filigree bead cap, and then a lantern. And then for the carnelian, I'm using a lantern, and then one of these little 5-petal bead caps from the companion bundle. Those were nickel-free. They've got a little pattern on one side of it, but they're so small. And the carnelian is English or star cut. And I felt like that was such a great little, we add just a tiny bit of bling without at all interfering with the beautiful cut of that stone. That's why I like both of these bead caps, is because they don't really interfere with the way the rest of it looks. And then bracketing that with another lantern. And then for the middle section, we're going to have some more of those lanterns. I told you I love them. Lantern, an agate, and I'm not using any bead caps or metal bits on this one. And then another lantern crystal. And then we've got, this is a very simple link right here. It's just 3 of these triangle beads stacked. These ones are going with this pendant, which has like the triangle patterns on it. And so I really felt like that was a great, simple link to use for it. And then on our smallest necklace, we're going to do 2 of the howlite heishis. That matte crystal that looks like dragon scales, and then 2 more heishis. is one of the links that we'll use for that one. And then the other link is a Heishi cat's eye glass, which have very small holes. And so they've been a little tricky. I even broke one when I was doing my prep earlier. So if it only goes down so far, that's why I'm putting it on last. It's going to be the first one to get made into a link because I don't want to force it down on my wire to wait its turn. So it gets priority. Like that one won't even go on. But that's okay. I have my strand right here so I can get another one. Don't force it or it will break. I learned that. Oh, come on. Okay. And then another Heishi. So, okay. So, to make my links, I am going ahead and I'm taking my 6-step veil making pliers and I'm using the smallest step. And I'm just pinching the end of that wire, which is already flesh cut from when I was making things earlier. And I am pinching it between the jaws with the smallest one closest to me and then just rolling it towards me. Open the jaws a little bit, keep rolling and roll until that meets itself. And then I'm opening the jaw, repositioning it so that the second one is just underneath where that first one is, closing the jaw, and then just giving it a little knock. And what that does, if I'm not trying to do a weird angle to show you, is it centers it. There we go. Let me get this fixed because that got a little bit mangled, but I want to make sure that that is going to be just fine. Okay, so then you move your beads up for that link. Oh no. There we go. Okay. And then I'm going to do this a little bit assembly line style. I'm going to go ahead and cut with the flush end towards the spool. That way I'm ready for the next one because this is going to get one more trim before it's done. And I'm just going to take this link, and I'm doing all of my links with parallel loops. I'll straighten it out with my pliers if I need to, but I'm just folding that over to keep all the beads in place while I make the next link. It's just a little bit less back and forth. So I'm doing the same thing again, just rolling that to me and then knocking it back a little bit so that it centers. See, I wasn't getting all awkward, so now I can actually show you. That's what it's meant to do. And then snip and bend. Okay. Got just a couple more. Well, three more, that's half of them. I'm just rolling that, getting it centered, moving the beads up, snipping underneath with the flush towards the spool, and get bent. Oh, I forgot to bring a drink in here. I usually have a drink for when I'm talking too much and need to get a little drink of something. I might need to go and get that when I clear my mat and get ready to do the other set. I'm just continuing, not describing it every time I do it, but following the same pattern for all of these. And I'm just straightening out a little bit more of that wire to get my last one ready. And I'll use a little bit more of this wire when I do earrings a little bit later. I won't worry about getting those components ready yet. Well, a lot of them are already ready, but there's a few that we'll do when we're actually getting ready to do the earrings. And then this. Okay, set the wire aside. And now I'm going to just take this and snip my excess wire on all of them. I'm going to come back to the veil making pliers, just getting a little bit of an end off of each of these so that they've got about 1 centimeter left. That gives it a nice flush cut. And also using it against the beads, I can get the size and spacing that I want. And that bend is what's going to make it centered when we do that loop, by the way. Just getting this a little bit, I'm just measuring it against my finger. I have an approximation. If you want to get and measure each one individually, you are welcome to. Like I said, I've been doing a lot of setups. I made a lot of these earlier, and I'm willing to estimate. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and finish these up by taking that bent over bit of wire and using our smallest size again on the 6 step and just rolling that up. And then we'll have one last step for all of these after I've finished getting a loop on all of them. But I want to show you each of the links that I decided to make. I'm using 2 different ones for each necklace. Some of them are going to use lengths of chain in between, like the long one. Other ones are going to use jump rings to connect to each other. And one of them is going to use jump rings to connect to each other and connect a dangle. I am experimenting with dangles on beaded chain. Normally my dangles are on my strung pieces, so trying something a little bit new to me. I like to challenge myself. Sometimes it goes well, sometimes it doesn't. We'll see how this experiment goes. Okay, so now we've got those done. I'm moving the cutters and the bail making pliers away, and now I've got my flat nose and my chain nose pliers. And what I'm doing is I'm just putting one side of each link in each of these sets of pliers, and if it's not quite parallel, I move them to get them parallel and giving them each a little bit of a squish so that they get a little bit work hardened, but also are facing the direction that I want them to be. So it's just a quick little, I don't know, kind of quality check for each of these links. And as I attach them, I might make some adjustments to the loops themselves if they're not quite closed or anything like that. Most of these were pretty good as far as parallel goes. But this way, we've got that done. And then these ones were ones that I already made earlier. So that is making all of our links. I'm going to put the ones that are for later back up with their friends because we don't need them right now. And yes. And then bringing down the ones that are actually for this necklace. With our dragonfly. Now, I think what I'm going to do for this dragonfly is just to keep it a little bit simple. I'm going to give a large jump ring as a circle to attach the dragonfly and the first segment of my chain. I think that's just easier. Let's see. Do I have all my pieces? 1, 2, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think I need 10. If not, I have more chain I can cut. So one of the things that I wanted to do was I was thinking about starting my necklace with these links right. Let me center this a little bit better from where the camera is. Sorry about that. Should have made sure earlier. I'm going to do these ones so that they're close to the dragonfly, I think. And then we're going to use segments of chain to separate, and we'll alternate. So we'll have this and a segment of chain, and so on until we get all of these on. And then I'm going to take this chain and I'm going to attach it to one side of the necklace. And when it's the length that I want it to be, for that longer length, like I said, this is my longest one, then I'm going to cut that length and just attach straight to the other side, because this one is meant to be big enough to go over the head. So let's start with a carnelian, and we'll work each side down. We'll get one side down, I'll string the other side, we'll attach everything. That's what we'll do, because you guys don't need to watch me do the whole thing. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm taking this carnelian, I'm swinging open one of my simple loops, and then I'm taking this chain, and it is very fine fiddly chain. If I struggle with this too much, I will do most of this offline so that you don't have to watch, because it is a very small link. I did confirm that this gauge wire will fit in it before I started, but that was coming at it with a straight wire, not a curved open loop. Oh, nope. If I need to, I can change to some other wire. I just don't have very much gold wire in my stash. Yes, okay, so that attached. And I'm just making sure that that closes all the way. And then taking one of these guys, opening the end, and getting the other half of that chain through it. That went smoother. Maybe I've figured out the knack, let's hope. Then I'm just opening this other side of the same link. Getting that opened and closed. Just make sure that it closes all the way. And then we've got to do a carnelian. Let's do this one. This is going better, friends. I think you just have to learn the tricks of each new chain you use. But isn't that pretty? Look at that length of chain. And that's just what we're doing. That's what this is going to be primarily made of, is these links that I made and some beautiful delicate lengths of chain, because this is the longest of this for this set. And I don't want it to be heavy, so there's a reason that it wasn't just full to the brim with links with heavy gemstones. There's a reason for that, so that it's delicate and nice, like a dragonfly. So someone in my neighborhood is awake at 4 a.m. Hello. Okay. Well, I'm awake at 4 a.m., so I guess I can't really say much about it. I'm going to open this carnelian. Oops, that's the wrong side. Okay, this should be the last of the small 1-inch lengths of chain for this side. Then I'm going to open up this. Yep. Open up this one and attach it here. I should do this the way I did the other side so that it's consistent. I'm like, why am I suddenly struggling with the chain? Because I'm holding it in the other hand. There we go. Okay, so this is one side of this beaded chain that's going to hang for this. I think that's pretty. I think that's really pretty. So let me get the other side put together and I will be right back so that we can attach it to our dragonfly and go from there. Okay, I am back and I've got our carnelian and magnesite strands ready to go. I love how delicate this chain looks between those links. So hopefully I like all of this put together. So this dragonfly already has a jump ring on it, so I'm not going to change the orientation, and I'm thinking that it's going to make it so that this will be a circle when it's being pulled from both of the chains. I hope I'm right. Let's get this this jump ring open. I'm going to attach first one side of the chain and then the dragonfly. We'll check to see if this hangs how I like it. And then the other side of the chain. And again, I'm making sure that both of these are the magnesite ends of these chains that I am linking. I don't like how loose that jump ring feels. I might need to find a different type of link. As far as hanging, it does do what I want it to, but I do worry about that jump ring opening. Let me take a look real quick. I've got a box of my findings. There it is. Let's see if I have any links in here. Multi-point links. I know I do in silver. I don't have a whole lot in gold. Maybe I'll do one of these. Yes, I think I'm going to do one of those. That's going to feel sturdier to me, and I feel like it's still going to fit this design. So let me get this jump ring off. Just take everything off of it, because I don't want this to fall apart. Whereas if we take this link and we attach this end of the wire to this side of the link, and then this side of the wire, or the chain, I mean, the chain to this side of the link. Okay, so that's where they've joined to each other. And then I'm going to take this jump ring. Let's see if I like this jump ring or not. The one that's attached. I might have to replace it with one of mine. That's a decent strength one. And we're going to attach it to this bottom petal of this flower is where I'm attaching the jump ring for the dragonfly. I need to open it just a little bit more. Okay, close that jump ring. And now I feel like we have a little bit sturdier connection point. What do you think? I think that's a little bit sturdier connection point. Yeah. Okay. So let me just check to see what my length is right now before I even add a chain to the back and see if this is, yeah, I definitely want it longer. So let me open up one side of this and add the chain. And then I'll be off screen, but I will be trying it on me and seeing how long it is and if it hits where I want it to hit, because it's going to be worn with 2 other necklaces. I want room for everybody. Room for everybody. So sorry for bumping the phone. And again, making sure that with that length, I can pull it off over my head, and I can. I want to cut the chain right about here. So this is where I want to cut the chain. Getting out my, since this is stainless steel chain, my memory wire cutters. Giving that a little snip. Angled it down towards my mat so I could catch the chain. Moving the extra chain off to the side and opening up this side. And just adding this chain right here. So then when I put on this necklace, which I'll do here right after I do this, the dragonfly is right, it's long enough that it like hangs right between my bust, and the topmost link is just above my collarbone. So then it's chained from there on around to the back of my neck. And that is exactly how I want this pretty little dragonfly to fit. Look at that necklace. That is necklace 1 done. Yeah, I think, friends, this is going to be a long video. This was the longest of the chain necklaces. I did do some of it offline, and I did a lot of prep at the beginning. But let's see how this goes. I may not be able to keep this under an hour, so I'm sorry to my international friends who would like to have the automatic translation. I might not be able to provide that, but I will do my best to give you a nice tutorial anyway and give you some pretty things to look at. So that is necklace number 1. Now, necklace number 2 is using a few things. Oh, this is one of the components we did not get ready in ahead of time. I'm using these moon links, and I'm attaching stars to them. And I'm going to use 1 in the earrings, and then, or 1 in each of the earrings, and 2 in this necklace, which is going to use, where did my moon go? Oh, there's my moon. There's my moon. I bumped my mat and some things spilled everywhere. Did not mean for that to happen. But these are the links that we're doing with it. Okay, so for this fiddly bit, I am using a, excuse me, a stainless steel pin. It's way too big for this, but my smaller pins were 24 gauge, and they were too flimsy, and I didn't want to have to try to wrap around this moon. It's awkward enough using this. So I just put one of the little star spacers on this guy, and I love the way they cant over to the side. They're not a straight up and down star. And then I'm bending it back, and I am giving it a little bit of room. You can see here that when this star hangs, he's not right up against the moon. So he's got some dangle space, and that is what we're doing with this. So let me get this snipped, and again, it's the stronger wire, so I'm using my memory wire cutters, and then I'm using my round nose pliers. I did choose to do round nose for these guys. I think I did. No, I didn't. I used the bell making pliers, the smallest step. and then get that to where it's there. Swing it open, and this is awkward. When I was doing it, I kept trying it from different angles, and for me, it was easier to hold my moon like this and to come down with the wire to get it in there. And then I had to use fiddly pliers to get it closed. So I was holding it on this side with these bent guys. And this one may dangle a little bit too much, but it's okay. It's still going to be fine. We are also going to use this component. Oh, I meant to do that differently. Hold on. I have to take that off. So I am doing these mirrors, these moons, so that they mirror each other. And I want the smooth part of the wire to face forward. Just me being picky. Just me being picky. So in this case, this one needs to face this way. You know what? I'm just gonna, I don't like how much longer this one is hanging down. So let me close it and see if I can rework that loop just a little bit. Okay. So I'm just getting my pliers in here, opening it just a little bit, scooting it down the pliers, and then trying to take up some of that space. Okay. I'd rather a larger loop so it hangs more similarly to the other ones. And that's what I just did. Okay, so open this again. And this time I want the moon to face this way, so it's so awkward. My wire needs to come down from this side so that I have the more solid looking piece of wire out front. It just looks tidier to me. You don't have to do it that way if you don't want to. But I started that way, and this is the fourth one, and I want it to match. Okay, so that was one of the components we did not get ready earlier. Just kind of straightening it a little bit because it got a little bit bent. Let's see, that star will hang there. So we're going to use these links in the necklace, and like I said, I've also got two. I plan on using 4 earrings, and I've got components set aside to add to those. Okay, let's get this put together. So this one I wanted to connect using jump rings for some just extra articulation. And then we're also going to end this one with a length of wire at the back, but it is going to have a jump ring and a lobster claw to finish, because this one is not going to be an over the head size. So just getting some of these larger jump rings out of my way so I can use these kind of medium-sized ones. I don't know what size those are. I am not that practiced. And I don't have it labeled, sorry. Okay, so on this one, I think I want to put the triangles closest to the moon, just to emphasize that connection. So this is how I'm stringing this part of the necklace, and it's going to be, like I said, chain at the back. I do wonder if I should use another one of those same connectors, because we do have a similar situation here. I think I do. Let's see how that goes using that same connector. Another one of these flowers. It's a very stylized flower. And I think this time, instead of attaching the chains first, I'm attaching the focal, because that's actually the smallest and fiddliest of the holes. There we go. And then I've got this jump ring that is going to attach to this. Oh, handy when I just knock things all over the place, right? It's going to attach to a chain, one of my triangle links, and then one side of that connector. All right, I'm gonna keep attaching that side, finish that length, and then do the other and come back like I did with the first one, just to save a little bit of your watch time. My make time will be exactly the same, but like I said, I am crazy and decided that I'm gonna make 6 necklaces and 2 pairs of earrings during this tutorial. So, you know, Jenny does what Jenny does. Just opening, attaching, and closing. And this is, right now I just have 2 of each of these links on each side, so a total of 4 links of the 2 different types of links. Yeah, I like the scale of that jump ring with this. Look at that. It becomes a part of the design then with the larger jump rings, and it seems to fit. It echoes the circle of the moon and everything like that. So let me attach these other 4 links and I will return. Okay, so this is going to be the main part of the necklace that's going to hang down kind of to the like mid chest is where I'm planning on having this hang. And so right about here is should be about my collarbones, and that's where I wanted to put these as like a secondary focal. So I'm going to do one of them that I arranged this way, and then another one that I arranged this way, and get them attached. So let's attach those. Make sure this is all working how I want it to work. Hopefully I don't have problems with the angles of my links, because I don't do this very often. So I've got this and this. Okay. And then this and this. Put this on here, and then okay. All right, and then I'm going to take another jump ring, and this time I am attaching the top of this link here to an end of this chain here. Let me get the length that I need. For this to sit the way that I want it to. I've got a little knot in my chain. I'm surprised that that hadn't happened yet. But it's just one little knot, so it's easy to work loose. There we go. Okay, so if I want these moons to be where they are, then I want my necklace to be about that long. Okay, so this is the length that I need, but I am going to be attaching a lobster claw and a jump ring. So I'm going to cut it just a little bit shorter than I anticipate so that I have room for that clasp. So this is where I'm going to cut it. And I always want the fiddly bit on my right side. So that's going to be this side. Oh, I need to cut this in half. So this is the chain from point to point. And it doesn't have to be precise, but just, you know, mostly in half. There we go. That's going to be about half. Because this one does have to have a clasp. So I already have the chain attached to my right side, which is where I do my fiddly bit. So that's where the lobster claw is gonna be. Where did my lobster claws go? I thought I got one out, but here. Okay. So I am going to attach it. Let me see if I've got one size smaller. I do have smaller. I'm going to use the smaller jump ring to attach this, but then still this size for it to attach to on the other side. And I'll be needing to do similar clasping for my third chain necklace. So just getting the chain on this jump ring. And the lobster claw. Oh, open that a little bit more. Reposition so I can get in there. Because this chain is way too small for the lobster claw to attach to it. So just putting a ring over on the other side. I swear those were different sizes. Oh, I only got one of the smaller size. I'm fine. I'm fine. Okay, so I'm going to need 2 jump rings. The first one is going to attach this link to... They ended up turning. Huh. Okay, I wanted them to mirror, but okay. Wait. Maybe I did. Maybe I did. I'm going to put this on first. If they don't end up mirroring, I'm not going to be mad. But the idea was to have them mirror. Like that. And get this one closed. And then one last jump ring to just attach to the end of this wire. So now we have necklace number 2. Yeah, this is going to be a long video, friends. Sorry. Okay, so we've got our moon necklace now with our moon links, and I'll polish them up before I take a picture. They're stainless steel and they got my little fingerprints all over them. And then with this right here. And so if you hold this, oh, that is not quite closed all the way. Let me finish getting that jump ring. It didn't quite snap into place. It was gonna be a touch open. So if we got this necklace closed here, and then we get this. I'm off screen for just a moment while I get these guys positioned so that you can see how they layer, how they'll fit one with each other. So we've got, I'm holding both of them up at the top. So you can see there's our moon and then our dragonfly. He got turned around. So that's about how those will layer, which I think is kind of perfect. I think that's kind of perfect. So Those are really fun, and I think they go great together. Let me get together what we need to do our third beaded chain necklace for our boho layered necklaces. Okay, so this one uses these links and these links and these drops. So I've got 5 of these drops that I'm going to be using in the necklace, and I've got another drop that I'm going to be using with these moon charms to hang from this right here. So let's make this one more component because we hadn't done that one yet. And that one is using one of those 24 gauge pins I was telling you about. And I'm just putting on this crystal drop and one of the cat's eye beads. And then just bend that over. This is where I used the round nose pliers. And then just take that between the tip right here and just start rolling it towards you. And just keep rolling. Roll it so that it actually does about 2.5 loops. Is about how much that does for me. And so that is ready to go. Okay. So what I've got, this is the bit that I hadn't quite planned out exactly. I know that I want to use 5 of these drops, so we're going to have them here in between links, and this is going to be more like a collar style necklace, so something that is going to rest at or above the collarbone. And I think I'm going to do these ones in the middle, and then these ones. Or no, I want the other guys first. Just because they're different enough from those drops. And I might have made too many of these. I wasn't really measuring. These ones are going to go more around the neck than the other one did. That's not so bad. That's not so bad. And then finish whatever I need to with the other. So what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to get out some more of my jump rings, and I'm going to be using them again to attach all of these links. But then when I attach here where these dangles are, I'm also going to be working in the dangle. So those are mostly the big ones. I hope I have enough. Definitely need to get more jump rings after this. Especially gold. Just trying to get them the same size. How many do I need? Okay, I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 plus clasping. That's 11. Let me see if I can get 2 more. 2 more for clasping. Yep, 2 more for clasping. Okay. And maybe I'll do one of those for the lobster claw to go into at the back. All right. I'm going to use up most of this. This is all that I have left of the chain. So I'm going to end up using up most of this chain if I use this at the back of this necklace, which is just fine. I mean, I'm making 3 beaded chain necklaces. So yeah, that's a thing. Okay. I am just going to start on one end of my necklace and go through just all of it. So I don't think it'll take me that long, but let me just show you at least how I start and get to the first where I add on the drop so that you can see what the heck just happened. There it is. Okay. So I've just opened up that jump ring. And I'm doing that so that it has better articulation and isn't a stiff necklace. So you don't have to use jump rings. Chain nose pliers work better than round nose pliers for, you know, opening and closing jump rings, just saying. This is a thing I've learned that I keep forgetting apparently. Okay, so this is the first of the jump rings where I'm also adding the dangle. So I'm opening up my jump ring and I'm attaching what I've already done on my chain, which has the crystal one, and then I'm putting on my dangle, and then I'm putting on my cat's eye glass. So I've got all of those together. And that way when it is on the neck, it should hang like this. Sometimes they'll get twisted around and you might have to fiddle with it a little bit, but it is meant to hang between those two sections of links. So and then I'm doing this again right here, the chain that I've already got going, the little dangle, and then my next link. See? So you can see how that progresses. So I'm going to get the rest of these attached and be right back. Okay, so I've got this strung, the front part of this this necklace, so that this is the center, and yeah, that should work pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and get the chain attached, what I have left of the chain, and I really hope it's long enough. If not, I'll add some length with some larger jump rings or something at the back. But I think that this might actually end up being perfect and use the last of the chain, so that's not a bad thing. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get this around my neck. Oh, that came loose. That came loose because I didn't have the loop on this guy fully closed. So let me get the jump ring on here, and I'm gonna scooch this and make sure that it is fully closed. Just tightening that loop so that it is not gonna go anywhere. Okay, do I have anybody else that's loose? I don't think so. All right. Oh my goodness, it is just about perfect. Okay, yes, adding the clasp will be exactly right. And I've got another of these clasps right here. Again, I'm gonna take half the chain and attach it to either side of my clasp. Should be cutting it right about here. And yes, okay, so, and this one, there is no front and back, so it doesn't matter which side I put the lobster claw on. I'm gonna go ahead and attach it to this side. Oh wait, hold on. I'm not ready to do that yet. Did I attach that with a jump ring? I did attach that with jump ring. Okay. I'm good. I will need to get out one more jump ring for attaching the lobster claw because I do need chain on both sides. And let's get, I think I got just a small one. Whoops. I had my hand on a small one. There we go. There we go. And guys, it's almost 5 a.m. I think I'm gonna have to do the other half of this video after I get a little bit of sleep, which is not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. You know, we should get we should get sleep. We should get sleep. Actually, I'm gonna swap that. I'm gonna put the loop on this side because one of my chains is actually a little bit longer than the other. I was not very good at getting that cut in half. So, actually I don't even need that jump ring. That jump ring is for the lobster claw. This jump ring I need to attach directly. It's just a loop on the end of the chain. So it's on the slightly longer section of chain. Because this is going to take up a little bit of space, getting the chain and the lobster claw. And I used up exactly the amount of chain that came in that subscription box. I feel like I accomplished something doing that. I'm just double checking this fit, and it's, oh gosh, it's perfect. It's exactly how I wanted my shortest chain necklace to fit. All right, let's get the tools out of the way, and I'll show you these chain guys, and then I'm gonna clean up my mess and be back in a few hours to work on my other set of layering boho necklaces. And but I thought that this doing one set in each style sounded like a lot of fun. So we've got, move these guys out of the way. We have first our big guy, our dragonfly, and he's gonna fit. I'm gonna get him layered for you too. Hold on. He's gonna fit. He's the one that doesn't even have a clasp because he goes right over the head. And then we've got our moon necklace. I'm getting tangled all over everything. That I'm going to line up with the chain at the back of this one. All right. Oh, this is a mess. I'm tangling all the chain, friends. All right. Oh, that's upside down. Let me fix that. Fix that. And yeah, those moons just kind of keep going whichever way they want to. Okay. So that is how these two necklaces layer. So we've got the dragonfly. Let me zoom out a little bit. Here we go. Yes, that's better. So you can see, because this is a long necklace. So you got to see far enough to know. So this is the dragonfly. Come on, friend. Come on, friend. There we go. All right, dragonfly and moon necklaces. Yeah. And then we have our little crystal drop necklace that fits right in here. So when you're wearing them all together, this, hang on, this is about how it would be on your neck. Just super fun, super boho, all the different lengths. I probably could have made the second one a little bit longer, but then I wouldn't have had enough chain. But it's still, because these drops do drop a bit. They do drop. Yeah. But I think that's nice. I think that's nice. What do you think? What do you think? I think that's a good start to our Bohemian nights layering necklaces. Let's make the earrings that go with this. I was going to stop there, but let's make the earrings that go with this because they are actually almost done. They are super easy. and it is just a matter of jump rings, and we'll use these guys, jump rings and ear wires. That's it, just jump rings and ear wires. And this one's done because we already made the components. We made our dangles, we made our moons with our star dangles, and this is just putting it all together. So there is no front and back, but if you do want these to mirror, like I set mine up to do, then you do have to pay attention to how you attach the ear wires when you get to that point. Closing that jump ring, and then I'm just opening my ear wire to attach to this other loop. I'm not going to put a jump ring up there, so just opening my jump ring. So this is the first one. I'll pay attention to the direction on the second one to make sure that I mirror them how I want to. So this is the moon that faces this way. Nope, that is not the way I want to do it. Because remember what I did with the wires? I did this backwards. So I did need to pay attention on this one, and I was just so cavalier. Just rotate it the other way. Get those ball and spring out of the way so that I can get in here. Realized I was holding that closer to my body. I do that when I'm concentrating, so I'm sorry when I go off screen. All right, now that's hanging the right way. Okay, and then we'll just do the same thing here. Take care of the jump ring first because that one doesn't matter because our dangle is the same. Front and back, we just want to make sure that we attach it to the bottom of our moon link. There goes my ear wire. Okay, and then I want this to face this way. So this is the front of my earring. So when I open my earring here, and I know that this is the back of my earring, then I want to make sure that my front is the front. I think I got that right. Let's close it and make sure. So we've got earring 1 and earring 2, and they are mirrored, just how I wanted them to be. Oh, sorry, I was still zoomed out from showing you the necklaces, so you might not have seen that as clearly, but those are our earrings. Let's come back in. And we'll have our dragonfly and our moon phase earrings, or our moon star earrings that match both the second, like the middle and the shorter necklace. It's got components from both of them. So we've got all of that together that is just fun. Fun, fun, fun. A little bit of chaos on my mat, but I'm not mad about that. I'm not mad about that. This got turned over. There we go. There we go. You can see all of that right now. So this is already over an hour, but there's more. So I'll see you again momentarily. Okay, friends, I am back, and I might have a little sleepy voice again, sorry. I am back at this after I got some sleep, and I am ready to do the beaded strands. This is going to be a little bit, I want to actually start with the shorter one this time, and it's the one out of the 3 that I think, at least as far as my instinct goes, is going to have the most structure to it. And as we go longer, we're going to get a little bit more chaotic, but embracing that bohemian carefree vibe. So this is going to be a little bit different vibe than our very structured, planned out all of the links kind of thing that we did last night. So I am going to start with the middle of the necklace because I'm not exactly sure on what elements I need to get the length that I want. But I am going to use for my smaller necklace as the focals this set of moon phase charms. So they'll just dangle. They'll dangle there in that space between the first and the second necklace. And so I'm going to start with the middle one. And sorry, I'm also, so between last night and today, I have new glasses. I got progressive lenses for the first time. I'm actually like embracing the fact that, I used to have great vision and I didn't even need glasses until I was 30. And then I only needed it to see at a distance when I was driving or watching TV across a larger room, that kind of thing. But now that I've been doing a lot more close work, I've had to admit that my vision needs a little bit extra help. And so it was time to embrace the bifocal. The last time I had an eye exam, I was on the cusp. I was on the edge of needing bifocals, and I resisted. And I finally have embraced it. But they say that you should, I had some problems with it. I went in and saw them yesterday. And so I decided to go ahead and start the adjustment today. And they said that once you start the adjustment, you should wear them the whole time and not go back to your old glasses. And so the timing of this is such that between last night and today, I am now wearing new glasses. And it's really weird. It's making my mat move. So there's that. There's that. And this is just going to be a small focal area at the front. I'm just getting some of these crystals. I love these lantern crystals. I love the color of it. Gets that kind of dark blue sky thing going on. And I'm just using some of these spacers that came in the subscription box to get a little bit of space on either side of each of these little dangly moon phase bits. And I'm going to be using a lot of the beads similar to what I had done in this bracelet. Okay, so now that we're past, so this is half of the moon phase. I'll do the other half later, but this is going to help me know on the size. Now that we're past that, I'm going to start mixing in some other spacers and some larger beads along the side. Normally I do my larger beads up front, but I'm doing that a little bit different. So I've got stars, and I've got, oh, I just did it. To try to see, I dropped so that I was like not looking with my glasses. So that's such an adjustment, friends. And then get some of these guys, because this is going to fit a little bit more like the shorter one that I did in the beaded chain set. So it's at or near the collar. You know what? I want more of the, I'm going to add in some more space, because I have a ton of the lanterns. I'm using them all over. I'm using them all over. But better to use the beads than not, right? Yeah. Just to get some celestial bodies in the night sky. I know you have a hole, I can see it. Is the hole not punched through? It's not punched through. Let's see if I can get one of these pins. There we go. Oh, much better, much better. I just used one of my pins from last night to punch through. Okay, let's see where I am on length because, okay. What do I want to add? Because I'm gonna run out of these moons, so I'm not repeating that pattern. Let's get another star on here. I do have room to just skip the moon. Let's see, I've got, those are 3 stars for that side. And I don't think I'm going to use these on the earrings. So I can do a little bit more of the pattern to get that length. Yeah, let's try that. Just minus the moons. Like I said, this is the more structured, patterned. I am actually trying to balance this one. I'm looking forward to, I like symmetry. I like to do patterns. I am looking forward to kind of challenging myself. I'm gonna switch to some of these smaller spacers. Just because, you know, I want to use some of these stars elsewhere. And I do have more. I've got a whole other pile up there, but I'm looking forward to interspersing the different spacers in the rest of my design. But I think near the back, because we should be getting pretty close to that. Yeah, we're getting close. Near the back, I want I totally lost my train of thought. How about that, friends? Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and do like 3 of these crystals. Because I needed just a little bit more length. And we are just about to it. So I'm going to go ahead and crimp this, get my crimps out and my magical crimper so I can demonstrate that. And these are going to be strung necklaces. I'm doing clasps on 2 of them, and the third one I am just going to use a single crimp instead of 2 crimps to crimp my 2 ends together, because that's going to be my over the head necklace. So I'll show you how I do that, but I'm going to go ahead and get out some crimps and my magical crimper and show you how I use it. So it is meant to be used on 0.018 to 0.019 beading wire. I'm using the medium Softflex, which is 0.019, and I'm using the Softflex 2x2 crimp tubes. You do need to use 2x2 crimp tubes, and you do need to use a crimp tube that has a decent wall like that. If it's too thin, your crimp will crumble. So I like the Softflex. They're good, sturdy, quality crimps. I'm going to be attaching my clasp and ring using jump rings. So I am going to just make this a small loop at this end. So I've just fed it back through. And then there in the pliers, there's this spherical concavity. See that? That is where we're going to make our crimp. So you're going to position your crimp tube so that it is centered inside that concavity. And when it's where you want it, you go ahead and just give it a little squish. And what happens is it pinches down the 4 corners of that crimp. So it gives you a little Come on, focus. Or is that my glass is not focusing? I can't tell. Yeah, so it pinches down those 4 corners. So you're going to take it and put it straight up and down, 90 degrees from where you just were. Make sure it's centered. It's still important to keep it centered, and give it another little squish. And then just open your jaws wide enough to turn it to different, rotate it around so that you can squish it from all sides. And what you end up with is a nice little, that you're done when you don't have any resistance anymore. But you end up with this nice little ball of crimp that's basically just like a little bead now. That's what that looks like when you've got it done. So snip off my excess, scoot the necklace down, and then I'm doubling back the wire so that I can just string the same on the other side, and I'm adding 2 inches so that I have room to crimp on the other end. And I'm going to string the other side just exactly how I did this, and then I will be right back with you. So sorry for the camera shake. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. And while I was gone, I saw a mistake that I'd made, and so I restrung it, and then I saw another mistake that I made. Actually, the first thing was that I miscounted my moons. And so my blue moons. And so I had to go back and remove one from the end of this other side. So I'm doing a trio of the trios at the back of the necklace instead of having a moon here, because I didn't have enough to do a moon here. And I caught a couple of mistakes when I did it. I was already starting to get a little bit short on my wire. So one of the mistakes I chose to mirror instead of actually correct. There's supposed to be a lantern and another star and a lantern right here. But I wasn't really going to have room to add that to both sides of this necklace and still be able to crimp without having to add wire. And I just didn't want to mess with that. So I figured this was enough of a pattern. Like we've got the 3 stars here, and then we start to get a little bit more space just with the 1 star. So since I mirrored on both sides, I don't think it's that noticeable. It doesn't bother me. I've fixed it in a way that doesn't bother me. So I am going to crimp the other end of my necklace. Just gonna coil this up a little bit so there's a little bit of slack. I'm just putting my crimp bead on just like I did on the other side, but this time I am a couple of tips that I do when I'm finishing the necklace, and also just additional tips on using the magical crimper. I do like to get the crimp tube as close to this bead as possible, but I put my thumb between the crimp tube and that bead so that I create just a little bit of space so that I have room to work my pliers. And I'm just getting my loops so that they match. That actually feels really good right there. And so I'm just going to take my pliers, center it just like I did on the other side. Make sure that that's nice and centered. I'm not squeezing yet. I'm holding it in place, making sure that I've got my beads clear and that my loop is the size that I want. You can make some adjustments while you're just holding it in place. And then go ahead and do your little squish. And instead of pulling it out and showing you, I am actually just opening my pliers enough to rotate it and then continuing like that. I find that that's easier for me as I've been learning to use this to keep it centered, which is one of the very important parts of using the magical crimper. If I don't pull my pliers away unless I'm checking to see how my crimp is looking, just because then I don't have to recenter it. As it forms into a ball, it is easier to make sure that it's centered because that's where it fits, But again, did that until there was no resistance left. Snipping this guy off. And then I am going to attach, I'm going to need a couple lobster claws. Maybe get them both out. Get my pliers. And where did my jump rings go? Oh, they're underneath underneath a box of beads. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? So I'm just getting a small jump ring to attach my lobster claw. And then I'm getting one of these, I don't want a huge one. Oh, and then I fling my precious running out of gold, there it is, jump rings off to the side. Okay, I think that's the size that I want to clip into. Move these other ones just out of the way. All right, and there is no front and back. They're the same on both sides, so it doesn't matter which one I attach. I prefer to have my fiddly bit on the right, and so normally I would figure out what the front of my necklace is. This one doesn't have a front because these little dangles are the same both sides. So we're just getting the wire on here. Get a little bit more space. And get the lobster claw. And you can use your magical crimper, the end of it, as a second set of pliers. It just was within reach. I literally have my other pliers here, but that's just what my hand went for. And then this guy is just going to, we're not attaching anything but the necklace to this. And just double check the fit, because that is going to inform a little bit the length of our second necklace. Make sure that this one isn't longer than expected, that it fits where I want it to. It does. Yep. Right there at the base of my throat, just above the collarbone. I like it. Okay, so there's that necklace. Yay, we have the first necklace in our Strung trio of our layered Bohemian necklace set. And these next ones are going to be a little bit, hopefully, less finicky, because I am basically going to, I have focals, and I am going to use them, but I'm basically going to be putting on whatever beads feel good, and not necessarily following a pattern. I'm not going to stress about mirroring it on the other side, just getting the length where I want it. But here is where I wanted to get in some of the truly like mixed things, like this strand of mixed faceted rounds. Maybe some natural tones like this rutilated quartz. But also, I think those might be for the long necklace. My chip stones, I think I'm going to do them in the long necklace. Maybe. But I'm going to be using, for this one, I want to use this matte, I think this is the Howlite, because we had the polish was the magnesite from the first box, and then we've got this. Oh, come on. This is going to be definitely more on the playing with beads side of things. I want to use those. I'm using these in the long necklace. We might use some of this glass bead mix. That might also be more of the long necklace, but I'm going to get some out anyway. So we've got it on the mat. Make a mess. Yep. So got some of those out. I don't want to do any of the triangle beads on this. I am going to be using a variety of spacers, the stars, and the little other guys. I think I might get these carnelian out for this necklace as well. We might pop in a little bit of carnelian when we want a change of color. We used them in the other set. Oh, my dog has woken up. She's gonna come and find me. I left her sleeping in the other room because she was just zonked out. She was just being a zonky dog, and that's okay. Hello, my puppy. Did you come and find your mom? Did you want to come lay down? Yeah, here. Let me put your blanket back where you like it. Oops, oops, oops. Sorry, should have paused that, but I thought this would be quicker. We'll see. I might need to pause to let her out since she just woke up. Actually, let me do that, and then I'll get her settled and be back. Okay, we are back from our adventures, maybe. Sophie's probably going to be moving around a little bit. You'll hear her, and then hopefully she'll settle here in just a moment. So, I was getting beads out. I was getting fun beads. I want to use some of these crystals for this one. I'm going to intersperse some of those. And let's just start stringing. Let's start putting some of these things together because I have some fun things to choose from. Let me move them to the edges of my bead mat so that the middle is mostly clear. I'll open up these strands and get them ready, but getting out some of my spacers so I can put in those little pops of gold when I feel like it. This is going to be Jenny trying to be random. Wish me luck. That is a very difficult thing for me. But we've got some great beads here to help that happen. And get this quartz out too. So we've got some nice soft natural tones as well, because I think that's quite nice. All right, get some of these out. And hopefully, because these small stones, sometimes I have a hard time stringing. Hopefully that's fine. Hopefully that's fine when I'm actually trying to do the thing. If a certain bead is too problematic, you know what? I'm just going to skip it. I'm not going to focus on having it on here. I also have some of this cat's eye glass. Let's get some of that. If I struggle with the rutilated quartz, I can use this instead. It hits kind of the same soft note. So get some of that cat's eye glass. Okay, so I am using a focal. This is the original focal from the main box. And I did, because it's nickel free, I did go ahead and get another one of these. We're not using it today, but I do have another one of those you might see in a future project. I don't know when, but it's something I can do, so, you know, why not? Why not, why not? And I think I want to put, see this is kind of a big loop, so I want something that is going to kind of catch against that, but not be too big. I think that might be a perfect place for one of these crystals. Let's see how that sits against the, yes. So when we've got one on the other side of it, it'll just rest between those. And this is the one that has that little bit of flash of, I'm just going to keep calling it dragon scale because that's what I see. And this is honestly, I'm going to try, guys. I'm going to try really hard to go full Bohemia on this. I would probably do better if I mixed all these piles together instead of picking and choosing. Let's see if I can find the hole. This is the other part of having these little tiny, yes. These little tiny beads. Sometimes finding the hole is tricky and whatnot. I'm just kind of picking a pile, adding a thing. I really hope I can pull off this get a little bit of the cat's eye in here for a little bit of size variation too, because it is a little bit bigger piece than the rutilated quartz as well. I think it's time to pop in a carnelian. Just what do I feel like? So far I've done like a big stone, 3 small things, a big stone, 3 small things. So I need to break that pattern. I need to break that pattern because I'm doing it unintentionally. So I've got, let's do a couple of these together. And then I think I want to do a star. I love these stars. They're so great. They're just fantastic. Let's get another one of these. Oh, need some of this. Need some of that for sure. In fact, I'm gonna mix up my rutilated quartz with these other, like this bead mix, because they're the same size, and I want it to be, so I've done this. That's gonna help me kind of mix those up better. Just pick them up and pop on some things. If it's one of the stones, great. If it's colored bead mix, that's great too. I have more of both that I can add. If I can find the hole. So I'm gonna get a couple inches started on this so that you guys get the idea. But then I'm gonna go ahead and pause this while I finish stringing it, so you don't have to watch me hunt for the holes, because this is already a very long video. And you guys get the idea. So I'm just sprinkling in every once in a while different spacers, so you get those little pops of gold. And not being mad about these 2 crystals being together, not feeling like I have to put a stone in between. Maybe I put one of these beads here, and then we work in another stone. So this is kind of the idea with this necklace. Fun and bright and colorful, but a true mix of just all the different, just whatever feels nice. Let me get, I'm gonna do one more. Actually, I'm gonna do this. Get that on there. Get a bugle on there, because I haven't put any bugles on yet. And then some quartz. So you can see it's just gonna be fun. Just whatever feels good with these bright pops of turquoise and carnelian, little flashes of gold. And I'm gonna get this strung to the length that I want, and then string the other side, and then come back to show you what I've managed to do with my intentionally just putting it all in disarray. And then we'll finish this and start on our 3rd necklace. Okay, so I just wanted to show you. I am going to go ahead and pause when I string the other side, but this is the first half of my necklace, and I'm quite pleased with it. I'm quite pleased with the distribution of color and shape, and it feels very fun to me. So I am going to go ahead and crimp this side. I did compare it to the length of my mid-length beaded chain necklace. This one's going to be just a tiny bit longer than that, just because that was the easiest way for me to determine what length I wanted this to be. So the idea between these 2 sets of layered necklaces is that they are made to go with, you know, the set that they're created for, loosely. You know, I mean, if you just compare this with the first necklace we did, there's not a whole lot in common between them, but that 3rd necklace, the longer one, is going to kind of tie them together, I think, and add in some other elements, some other fun elements. But the idea is that this is supposed to be just like this boho, carefree. Honestly, I would love to mix and match between the beaded chain and the strung sets. I'm doing them as sets because of the style of making them. That's the only reason that they're sets. So I'm going to go ahead and snip this off. And just like we did on the other side, I know what length I want now. So I'm going to scooch all these beads down. And then I'm going to double my strand back. I'm going to use a bunch of this wire, but that's okay. Double the strand back and then add a couple of inches. Oops, there it is. I'm going to string this other side and then be back with you. Okay, I have both sides strung, and this is fun, guys. This is just fun. This is the most random I have ever been. and I like it. I like it. So I am going to go ahead and crimp this other end. Make sure that my necklace is going to drape nice. I've got it curled up a little bit while I do this. I'm not going to talk you through because, you know, I already showed you how to do it. But I am going to do this on camera. Sometimes seeing it again is helpful. That's just somebody, sorry, that's not an actual alarm. That's somebody who drives down our street and decides to turn on some noisemaker alarm. It's so dumb. Sometimes I hate our neighborhood. They did that in the middle of the night the other night. Well, not in the middle of the night, but late enough. I was like, oh no, what's happening? No, it's just some stupid thing. But yeah, that whole like gut clench because you hear an alarm, that happens because my neighbor is rude and likes to make noise. So I don't know if you guys know this, but in Texas, the default speed limit for residential is 30 miles per hour, which to me was really fast. Everywhere I grew up, it was 25. So I'm already like, okay, we drive fast in Texas residential areas. But our street is near the entrance to our community and it's wide. And so people will drive down our street going like 50. They'll just blow past my house. It's ridiculous. And I know I sound like I'm, you know, that neighbor, get off my lawn. And I kind of am. I will admit, I kind of am. But I also know that my next door neighbor has a little girl and a dog that is often, you know, out and being a happy dog. And I just, it's not safe. So it bothers me. In fact, this feeder street that our street comes off of, the speed limit is 55 miles an hour, but people are usually going about 35. So I don't know why they're going 50 down my residential street when they're going 35 when they could be going faster. Just one of those things, friends. Apparently I am grumping. Okay, so this one does have a front and back. So this is the side that I want to attach my lobster claw to, because that's going to be the front of my necklace. Oops. I am just having a great old time. Okay, so necklace and lobster claw. Not my favorite kind of closure, but they were best for this situation. They just tear up my thumbnail opening the claw. So that's why I don't like them in general. And then this larger one is just going to be our closure ring, what it's going to hook onto. So easy enough to pop on there and get closed. Okay, so this ends the second of our strung necklaces, our 5th necklace overall. I still can't believe I'm making 6 necklaces in this video. Thank you for hanging out as long as you have. We're gonna keep doing this. Oh, there is a police car now in my neighborhood. They're like hanging out just across the street from my house. They heard me complaining. So these are, see, these don't necessarily like go matchy-matchy, but they fit a vibe. We've got some similar spacers with the star spacers between them. Let me get this moved over just a little bit more so you can see them together. So this is the shorter necklace and the medium necklace. Get that flipped over the right way. So we've got the shorter and the medium necklace, and then we're gonna have the longer strung necklace. So let me move some things again, and I'll be right back with some different things we're gonna use to pull all this together for the third necklace of this set. Okay, my friends, let me show you what I've added to my mat. A lot of what I used in the last necklace, I've just moved kind of up into other parts of my mat. You can see a little bit of that bead mix still over here and this bead mix up here. I may still add some of those in as I'm just putting this together, because again, I'm going to follow that same really loose style, but now I'm going to start adding in these multi-gemstone chip beads, some red agate coins, some of these dyed blue agate. They look a little bit like dragon vein agate with the way that goes through there. And these polymer clay, because this is a longer necklace and I'm having a lot of stone. So this is gonna help kind of offset the weight a little bit, but also add some really fun, playful shimmer. And for the focal on this necklace, I am going to use this polymer clay boho bead. And it is going to, I'm just going to string it. So it's going to be coming out the sides instead of trying to do it as a drop. I could do it as a drop and add some things to it, some dangles, but I want to just kind of keep this simple. It's already going to have a lot going on just with the variety of beads I'm going to be using. So I'm just going to use this as like the base. This is the largest bead on the strand, and it's just going to be that kind of focus that hangs at the bottom of this long necklace. So again, I'm going to start from the middle since I am using a focal on this, and I am going to string 1/2. Let's play around with some of the choices that I might make. Oh, I hope that strings through. Well, it tried to go through the wrong hole. There we go. Now it's going through the right hole. So watch out for that. This is a little star shape here at the top, and you can accidentally go through the wrong hole. So just so you know, that can happen. Let me snip these red agate coins open so that they're ready when I want them. There's just some little gold seed beads. Who knows? Those may end up in my design as well. Don't know, but they're definitely a thing. But I do want to just kind of play around with a lot of the same elements. I'm going to be adding in some of the bead mixes, probably more these bead mix than this bead mix, and a few gold spacers as we go. I still have like 8 of these star cut carnelian, so they may end up in the design. And I do have some of this matte. I want to say this was the Howlite from the companion bundle, that we might work into that. But let's just go. Let's see what feels good next to this. I feel like I should put something fun and bright, kind of balance that color right next to it. So I'm gonna try this, see what I think about that right next to it. I feel like it needs 1 bead. Let's do a cat's eye. That's why I kept them on my mat. Just to get a little bit of space. And I am going to have a lot of random fun with this. Like I'm going to go ahead and put on one of these rondelle beads and then just grab a chip at random. I'm not even looking at my pile, guys. And stringing that chip on after that bead. And I'm going to do like, it's going to be a little bit of a pattern because I'm going to do like a series. So there's that. Then grab another chip. And then that. Grab another chip. I want to establish that as a thing that we do. So I've got a group of 3 chips together. And then I think it's time for a little bit of a gold spacer now. I'm going to go ahead and I'm putting, sorry, I was off camera, putting this, come on, this rondelle on here. And then we'll use one of these gold spacers. And then I want to get some of the polymer action, which is just kind of this fun chunky thing. Kind of helps break up the visual space. Maybe do one of these little seed beads that came off of the coins. Just for fun. Let's get this agate in here. And then let's do another series of chip beads. So that's what I'm going to be doing with this, is like I'm going to have like a series of chip beads and then a few other random beads and then a series of chip beads and kind of go like that. So let me get some more of this strung because this is going to be a lot of stringing and you probably don't want to hang out for all of it, but I'm going to give you, so this is kind of where we are for this first one. Again, we're adding in so much color, but also like the natural stone. I mean, some of it is dyed, some of it is highly polished, but like this one is rough. Like, so there's some variation there. Yeah, I'm going to get a little bit more of this strung and kind of check in with you, show you what I've got going on, because I think that that's going to be nice. So I'll get a couple, I think, yeah, I want a little bit more of a moment with the polymer clay. And then I'll do the chip bead. So maybe this is going to have a little bit more of a pattern just because I'm clustering some of these ideas. But we'll see. I'm going to put some more together and then come back and show you what I got. Okay, friends, I'm back. I swear this is the video I have spent the absolute longest amount of time on, between prep, offline stringing, offline linking. I asked a question at the beginning of this video. I asked if maybe I had bitten off more than I could chew. The answer is no. It's not more than I can chew, but it's pretty darn close. It is a long video, so if you are still here, bless you for being here. I am just finishing up this necklace, and I've got these kind of carnelian and this bead right here, and because the crimp bead is going to look like just a gold bead, I've decided that I'm going to go ahead and have it fit as if it was, wait, no. I did that wrong. I did it on the wrong side, hold on. If I do this, one side is slightly longer. I have a wire than the other. So this is what I did, by the way, like super fun chaos, but it's like, it actually does follow a pattern. It just doesn't look like it because we've got all these great chip beads and they're various sizes. So it doesn't take long before things don't really line up. They kind of line up, but they don't really line up. But there are some really beautiful beads on here. Absolutely beautiful beads. Where was that one? This one. I don't know if you can see this, but it's got like almost like pyrite kind of inclusions in it. It's so sparkly. It's so sparkly. And I love it. And then I've got this other one up here that looks like a chunk of, you know, the coconut candy that that you could get that was like stacked together, like Neapolitan flavors, like Neapolitan ice cream, but it was like this coconut candy. That's what that reminds me of. Don't eat the beads. But what I'm going to do is right here where for some reason I either lost one or I miscounted my polymer clay. I am using this kind of grouping of the polymer clay beads and the carnelian to to position my crimp beads. So this is what I'm doing actually. This is going to be an over the head necklace. It's long enough, it doesn't need a clasp. So I just took my crimp bead and I passed both strands through it, just like that. And I'm just going to crimp it right here in the middle. Make sure I don't crunch my beads, but this is the tricky bit. Making sure that everything is nice and tight as it can be. So I am holding this down instead of up to show you, because I don't want the weight to pull these beads farther off the strand. I think that's good. I can't hold both at the same time. Well, maybe I can. Okay, I'm just gonna get that first one in, rotate it, and get a second crimp in, and then it should be enough to be holding the strands, and I'm not gonna worry about it slipping out. And I'm just gonna rotate this around and crimp. But this way, this crimp bead kind of fills in the same visual space as this gold spacer over here. So once I snip off the excess wire, it will stop sitting funny. So this is just gonna snip off this end. Yeah, my phone actually had to charge. So while I was stringing this other side, I just had my phone charging. And the, oh, that's interesting. Well, I wish I'd been planning on that. The polymer clay has a big enough hole that it eats the crimp tube. I would have put a gold spacer on the other side, but it doesn't matter. That was just for fun. And if this polymer clay eats that crimp tube, I'm not gonna be mad. So you can't even find where I crimped it. How cool is that? So, okay. I am going to very gently move this mat, because it's not a hard mat, off to the side so that we can get all of, oh, you know what I haven't done yet? I have not done these earrings. One more pair of earrings, just one more. I am going to keep this simple and do stick earrings. I did something fun and dangly with the other earrings. So I feel like I can do stick earrings for this one. A little bit simpler, but ornate. And they're kind of bent, so that's why I pulled out a few. I can straighten these guys out a bit. There's the school bus dropping off the kids. I don't know if it's gonna be noisy or not. I don't know. My dog, though, she is waiting at the door between the house and the garage because her papa should be coming home soon. And so she's going to be pacing and stuff like that. But he's just going to wander around Target until I'm done filming. Let me see if this is going to, oh, it will hold at the bottom of that. Perfect. I want some of these lantern crystals because I adore these lantern crystals. And maybe a red agate coin. Yes. Let me get another of these crystals. Look at how empty I've made this box. I mean, I have beads I need to put away, but I have used so many beads, guys. My boxes are feeling a little empty, and I still have so many things that I can make. Okay. I think this is what I'm going to do. It's going to fit, and it's going to tie in with all three of the necklaces that go in this set, but in a nice way that kind of has that carnelian color with the blue. And then this, yeah, I think that's lovely. Let's go ahead and get this snipped off. And I'm just going to use my round nose pliers for these to get them where I want them. Except it keeps trying to go away from me. Twists away. And these earrings won't have a front or back, so I can put them on however I want. That is going to be easy. Let me just get this other one put together. May as well do it all right. But then I'm going to move this mat, and I'm going to get out all 6 necklaces and 2 pairs of earrings and show you what we have made over the course of the last, oh, it's got to be 2 hours. I have it in several video segments at this point, so I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure we're pretty much either at or past that 2-hour mark. So again, thank you for hanging out with me. I hope that you either made something of your own while we did this, or just enjoyed the visit, got some ideas, because I've had fun making this. It has been a lot of work though. I've spent a lot of time sitting at this desk, and I am ready to take a little bit of a break, put my feet up. I think tonight is date night. We do date nights on a Tuesday night every couple of weeks. It's less busy. I think I mentioned I have an olfactory disorder, so it's easier for me if we're going to go out to eat for dinner to go when there's not going to be a big crowd of people, because I don't have to worry about what they're ordering and if I'm going to smell it and make me not want to eat my food. So that's something, just one of those things, one of those reasons I'm a little bit of a hermit. And that's okay. It's okay to be a little bit of a hermit. I am one. And that's why. So we're probably going to do date night, also because I haven't eaten yet today. I've been busy doing all of these things. I usually can't eat the first couple hours that I am waking up. But then if I get busy doing something, I get very focused. So was this more than Jenny could bite off more than I could chew? Probably. But I decided to do it, and so I'm seeing it through to the end. These are so cute. I love these. They might be a little bit heavy, but they're cute. Yeah, they're a little bit heavy. They're not super heavy since this is polymer clay instead of a heavy stone. But let me get my jewelry in one place. So that's everything that I've made. Move my tools. I'm not putting all of this away because will take even more time than we've already spent, but I am moving that off to the side so I can clear it later. So we have this nice white area. I'm actually going to zoom out so we have a larger area. Let me get these tools out of the way as well. Adjust the camera a little so that we can have a clearer view, because this is 6 necklaces, friends. This is 6 necklaces. And so this is the pile of jewelry that I just made. And we're gonna sort it out. So sorry, it's a little bit noisy. This is the middle necklace from the beaded chain set. And this is underneath everything. This is the longer necklace, the over the head necklace from the beaded chain set. And then we had our, where did it go? There it is. This is our shorter necklace from the beaded chain set. It has these little dangly drops. I probably should have started with this short and then built out because they keep trying to snag each other. This is going to be fun to try to photograph, guys. We usually do a little thumbnail of like everything that we made. This is going to be a lot. Okay, so that is the necklaces and earrings from the beaded chain set. I'm going to gently move them over so they're still on screen, but you can see the chaos there. And then we've got our short necklace from the Strung set with our moon shapes, our phases there. And then we've got our medium necklace. That fits like this. And then we have our larger necklace. Keep dropping things. I've almost got everything laid out so that I'm not dropping things anymore. But this is our longer necklace. And it's quite a bit longer. There we go. I think we can actually see the bottoms of all the necklaces there. Okay. That is also an over the head necklace. So as you can see, they've got some different vibes, but they use a lot of the same elements as well. Got these earrings down here. They use a lot of the same elements as well. And so you could mix and match between these. We've got these blue crystals that I love everywhere. We've got the star spacers in both sets. We've got the carnelian. We've got different colored turquoise stones. You know, there are things that are unique to each set, but there's still a lot of crossover. So this is meant to like show this was all made beaded chain. This was all made strung. But honestly, this is mix and match boho layered necklaces with some complementary earrings. So I hope that you've enjoyed this. I've had fun making it. This is just crazy. I can't believe. Let's get a little bit closer view. Move that a little bit so you can see. But yeah. It's got a lot going on. It's got a lot going on. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I've had fun making it, as usual. Oh, if you are not subscribed to Bargain Bead Box yet, we do have a link in the description, as well as a coupon code if you want to get a discount off of the Bargain Bead Box. If you are a subscriber, you get 30% off at the sister store, Bargain Bead Box, which is where we buy the companion bundle. And that 30% off coupon can be used as many times as you want to over the course of 2 months. So it's a great deal. I very easily, when I go and place an order on already discounted, because it's mostly closeout items at Beadbox Bargains, it's already discounted, and then I place one order and I've saved as much money as my subscription costs. So it's that easy. So that information is in the link below, in addition to links to what else we've made with our Bohemian Nights collections, whether it's the subscription box or the companion bundle, as well as Beki's 2-for video that posted earlier today. Be sure to check that out. She made some beautiful things. She went simple and I love it, and you don't always have to make things complicated. Apparently I needed to make things complicated and decided to make 6 necklaces. So voila, here we are. I hope you have a wonderful week, a wonderful day, and as always, happy beading, and don't forget to play. Bye, friends.